Keeping it real on CliffCentral.com.
Good afternoon and welcome to Auto Central on Cliff Central, powered by AutoTrader, your trusted motoring marketplace. I'm Wilmarie van Rensburg, also known as SA Speed Queen, and with me I have George is back. Hi George.
How's it, Wilmarie? How are you?
Good. Nice to see you back.
Thank you.
Chad did a great job with me. I think we did a great job.
I think we did a fantastic job. Thanks, Wilmarie.
But we did miss you.
Thank you very much.
Yes, your presence was missed, don't worry.
Liar.
But was there something about board meetings? Or
Yes, it was. I did say that you were in a board meeting. That's probably exactly what you were, was pretty bored.
No, it actually wasn't, to be honest.
Was it a good one?
I've got a cool bunch of guys around my table.
Nice.
And it's all motoring, come on. I mean, that's what we
exactly.
do. Did you get good results from that?
I always get good results from that.
Ooh.
But I mean, I think we all had some then exciting times the last week since our last show.
So much has happened over the past week, eh?
It has. Tell us a little bit, George, about the major hype that you guys have going at the moment. 99-cent new car.
Absolutely going ballistic. Twitter has gone mad. And our social media team are keeping up with it, although long hours and little sleep.
Ook maar net.
Yeah, ook maar net. Chad is helping out with it. The rest of the marketing team is helping out with it, but it's going absolutely mad. So hashtag 99-cent new car. We are getting thousands of tweets. 2 days ago, we had 17 million impressions on Twitter.
Wow.
Which was absolutely phenomenal. It is going crazy.
Completely staggering. Really is. George, we didn't even expect it to be this popular, to have this sort of response.
Yeah.
And a little ill prepared for it, but we know for next time, and we've modified accordingly.
No, but I mean, no one's noticed that if you haven't, you guys are managing it. Just to refresh and tell the listener, the 99-cent hashtag, 99-cent new car. Every day you give a new
clue. Yep. So the 28 clues, and I think we're on to clue number 8 now. I think it's clue 8 or clue 9. Yeah. And if you go onto autotrader.co.za, you could also click on the big banner that's on the homepage and get yourself through to the landing page, which has all of the specs of the car that we've released so far. And people are guessing left, right, and center. And
this is over 200,000 rand car now. We're talking.
Yes, yes, it is. And we're not giving it away. There are a handful of people, and those people are down with keys and chains and are sworn to secrecy.
Okay, so now you said last week we discussed rules and regulations of who can enter and who can't. So just to tell you again, if you're not sure if you can and how it works, go onto AutoTrader's website. You'll see terms and conditions there of what you have to and can't do. But when are you giving us the clue, George?
Every day at 12 o'clock. So the clue will be it should have been out by now. So if you go to Twitter at AutoTrader SA, you'll be able to go and pick up the clue over there.
So what is the new clue for today? So let's, if we don't know it yet, is it this 1,000 more talk?
We've been prepping for the show. We haven't actually been monitoring it.
Well, then I'm one ahead of you. I think it's 1,000 more torque peak revs than a Nissan NP200.
Well, go and check out Twitter at AutoTrader SA and go and try and guess what it is.
Well, I have one very determined lady, Janine. She is very determined that this car is going to belong to her. So, terms and conditions. Well, I don't even know if I can enter. I've still been trying, but we were so busy.
I think it's going to be a fight at the end.
Yes.
So there's gonna be a big thing when we do give this car away, and it's going to be a bit of a fight at the end.
So let's just quickly talk. I mean, the reason why I don't even know if I can enter yet is there was so much happening this last weekend and this week. For one, we're going to give you a little bit more detail on the BMW R1200 RS and the BMW 1000 XR, which I had the privilege of riding yesterday, the whole of yesterday, with a few journalists, and then they've got some more riding today. So we'll tell you a little bit more about that in the show just now. And then also on the breakfast presentation that I did with Thebee Reed and Renee, and we've got her here as a guest. Hi, Renee.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. How are
good,
you?
Thanks, good.
So we're gonna come back to you, Renee, just to give some quick detail. Do you watch Formula One, by the way?
No, unfortunately, I'm always busy working on an event. So.
Because this is what you guys do on
Yes.
weekends.
Yes,
hey?
that's what we do.
Both the two of us have got the same excuse. It was
Yes.
Karting Motor Festival.
And you happen to have this one together now for this weekend.
There we go. Yeah.
Now, but just to give you guys some quick highlights on if you did watch Formula 1 or you missed the Formula 1, there was a bit of a shift and a change in the results. We had Ferrari and 2 Red Bulls on podium, and Lewis actually finished 6th. So, which is very interesting. I don't know if the partying with the Kardashians, whomever, is like
starting to show. Yeah.
Yeah, it needs to happen from time to time. Things need to change up.
Yeah, it's got to happen. So,
I can't have the same procession happening and the same people up top there. You know, you want a little bit of variety.
yes, and that's good. Look, he's been very arrogant about his results and his talent. So, you know, like we said last time, we need more excitement in the Formula 1. So, watch the space. Let's see what happens there.
So I just got that clue up, and the clue is this car does 0 to 100 in the same time as the automatic BMW 118i.
Still don't know. So do you know?
Go and
Jay?
use the search and compare tool on the AutoTrader website, and because that's probably the easiest way to go and do it.
Yep.
That's actually the only way.
On the landing page, all of the specs have been released. So, based on the clues so far. And if you can piece it together, you might be able to get to a short list of cars, and then it shouldn't be too difficult from there.
There's a couple that have already got it spot on, and we're only a couple of clues in. And they're.
So we've got to keep it quiet. But
we're not saying who and what and where.
But that's great, guys. So go to the AutoTrader website. We'll come back to you just now and give you another clue if you did miss it. But let's get to our guest, Renee.
Yes.
So Renee Staack, welcome so much.
Thank you.
General Manager of, is it Thebee or Thebee Reed?
It's Thebee Reed Exhibitions.
Exhibitions. Okay. So now you guys do amazing stuff, but some of the things we want to talk to you about is obviously motoring related. And Chad did a thing with you this week. Well, I did with you on Friday, which we'll tell the people a bit more now, and it's Women in Motorsport. But I want to know a little bit more about one of the exhibitions that you do, because am I right in saying that, I mean, you guys are doing over 500 events in 43 countries. That's like in 43 different industries.
That's correct.
Tell us a little bit about all the types of industries.
Okay, so basically Thebee Reed Exhibitions is a JV between Reed Global and Thebee Investment Corporation locally. So together we own the 500 events globally, and it ranges from cosmetics to engineering to sporting to decor, you name it. So it covers most of the industries out there. Locally we own 14 titles, whereof it's the decor industry, business, retirement, and then my department, the sports department. Right. So I'm privileged enough to be involved with the motoring event, and then also motoring event, and then we also host the Sports and Events Tourism Exchange, where we promote South Africa to convince more international events to come to South Africa.
Oh, that's great. And I mean, one of the motoring events that stand out now, although I see you guys are expanding, which we'll get to just now as well, is the Gauteng Motor Fest. That was this weekend.
Yes, that's correct.
So tell us a little bit more about that, because AutoTrader was involved there as well in quite a big way.
The Gauteng Motor Fest started in 2004. It was originally called the Gauteng Motor Show. Carol Weaving, our MD, is an adrenaline junkie and a speed freak. So she came across the show and said, I need to add this to the company portfolio. So we purchased the show and started running it. Originally, it was just an exhibition showcasing all the products and services in the industry, and we decided to build on the track action because it's all about the sport. So this year specifically, we changed the show name to the Gauteng Motor Fest, and the theme was celebrating all things motoring. So it was focused more around the track program, and where AutoTrader was involved previously and still is the Super Drift series, which is the main attraction. And then we also started incorporating your go-karting, which is more from younger kids to adults, and then also the Honda NSF 100, who had competitors between 8 years old and 14. So in this way, we're trying to incorporate all codes and also males, females, and all ages as well.
How many people attended the show?
Unfortunately, on Saturday, the hailstorm pulled through, so we took a little bit of a knock, but we still had the enthusiasts pulling through after that, and we had a good, I think, about over 5,000 people coming through over the weekend.
Okay. It was so strange. Saturday, it's a Saturday morning at about 8:30, 9 o'clock on a Saturday morning in July in Brakpan, hail.
Yeah.
It was
And
completely
not ideal
left
for an
field. That's-
outdoor event.
No,
No,
it
not at all.
scared a lot of people away. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
very, very overcast and that, and many people on the Saturday sitting there and just look out the window and write it off. And the Sunday, I think there was probably 4 or 5 times the number of feet through there. Sunday
Yes,
was
thank
busy.
goodness, yes.
Sunday was pumping.
But Renee, you were concerned about this on Friday when we saw you. But I'm glad to hear the event ended up being a success in any case. But is this, am I right in saying this is the 12th edition?
Yes, it's already the 12th edition, and we're going to continue with it. So
you're happy with the results?
yes, I'm
Everyone
happy with the
understands?
results. It's all about the motor enthusiasts. So if they supported the event, we'll continue with it.
And on the drift side, Chad, you were quite busy there because you couldn't watch Formula One.
No, I
Just give us
couldn't
any
watch. No, I was
feedback
at the Gauteng Motor Fest and that, and naturally I was doing the commentary for the Super Drift series, the National Super Drift series, which AutoTrader has been involved with in the past and that, and still supports the guys that run it in terms of excess promotions. And very exciting. Saturday, the guys had a practice on Friday, they had a practice on Saturday morning, and then the qualifying, where the guys go out one at a time, just to impress the judges, and they had to sleep on it, not knowing who had qualified in the top 16 or not, come out on the Sunday, and they were only told who would be in the top 16 Sunday morning. So it kept them all there, it kept them awake at night, and we had some fantastic driving, absolutely amazing driving. Jason Webb, Monster Energy, he came out on tops there.
Great.
He was followed by Shane Goodside from Port Shepstone, and then in third place was Paulo Gouveia, Prepsol and Vehicle Inc., Nissan 200 SX. So 3 drivers from different parts of the country, and fantastic, top-notch driving. It was an
Tell me,
absolute
Chad,
spectacle.
Is there any woman there involved in the drifting?
Oh, yes. We had Claire Vale competing.
Okay.
Mariska Dyke, unfortunately, also, and she's a youngster. I'm just going to go and I'm going to say under 20 years old. I'm not going to give a lady's age away. But she went out and unfortunately she stripped first, second and third gear in her Toyota Supra. So she ran into a mechanical issue. She went out and then borrowed one of her dad's spare cars. Her dad's also a drifter. And unfortunately, just not having spent time behind the wheel, she just hacked it a little bit and didn't manage to qualify. This was on Saturday, right before qualifying. Basically her last practice run in the last dying moments.
So those are the
Stripped
2
gearbox.
ladies.
Yeah, of the 2 ladies, there are a couple of others as well, but those are the 2 that compete in the National Super Drift Series, yes.
But this brings me to, Renee, I want to ask you a little bit about your expansion strategy that you guys have in place, because one of the elements, am I right, is Women in Motorsport.
Yes, that's correct. So this year we launched the Women in Motorsport Breakfast in association with the city of Ekurhuleni and Carnival City. This was originally an idea that Carol Weaving, the MD, and myself had, and we approached the city and they were very keen to get involved, and luckily we managed to launch it. The breakfast was hosted this past Friday, and I must say we had a good turnout. We had about 50 females attending, and the platform is predominantly created to get together, talk about initiatives that all these women in motorsport support, and also grow legacy programs within the industry to grow more participation for females in this sport.
It's very interesting because, I mean, last Wednesday we were saying, I said to you I was going for breakfast, Women in Motorsport. I didn't even know I was going to get tickets to the Gauteng Motor Fest and that it was all related. You know, when I got the email from you, I just said yes because I just love supporting women in motorsport in general for them to grow. So from my side also, thanks for having me there to do the talk. It was great. It was lovely to meet Carol. It was also lovely to meet the ladies from Ekurhuleni, which is very interesting to get to see their involvement. Can you speak for them on some level to say what their goal is and why they're getting involved?
Okay, so at this breakfast they did announce that they will support us for the next 3 years, and it's not just the Gauteng Motor Fest but also the various legacy programs we want to launch. Number 1 is spinning. Spinning's become very popular in this industry, and they want to create a regulated environment within Ekurhuleni where everybody can come through and compete. They are in discussions with Motorsport South Africa, so they'll also assist in this initiative. But the other 2 that are more important and my favorite is the Women in Motorsport element. They also want to grow female participation, especially in the Gauteng region and in Ekurhuleni, and therefore we're looking at expanding on the breakfast but also launching a conference to talk about topics in the industry that need a bit of more solutions and things, and then also business of motorsport in general.
Okay.
And then the third project we're looking at is youth and motorsport. It could be anything from school programs to encouraging youth to start participating in motorsport.
So why is it do you think that women aren't more involved in motorsport? What are the things that that they could do to get them involved in motorsport? And then secondly, but firstly, why are they not involved more in motorsport? Is it a perceived male thing that most males are involved in motorsport? But why is it the case?
I think originally it was perceived that it's mostly a male sport, but I think the current problem is information. Ladies don't know where to go to find out how do I start out? Who do I talk to? Do I need to register? Do I need to become a member of the association? So I think it's all about the knowledge on how to get involved. We also discussed with MSA that we want to launch a portal around it to give people and youth more information on how to start out in motorsport.
So, I mean, I don't know if there's any surveys that have been done or any research around this. Maybe you do, but are women as interested as men in motorsport? If you had to take 1,000 men and 1,000 women, isn't it just a game of numbers?
I don't have statistics, but already just seeing the visitor attendance for the Gauteng Motorfest, you wouldn't believe it's 48% female attendance and 52% male. So I definitely think there's a huge interest. It's just to now get people into it.
It's changed on a big level. I can also speak from that because when I was running Women in Motorsport, I think this was 2007. We started with 180 women. 3 years later, 500 women. Participating on all different levels.
And versus how many men?
Well, look, big change in a difference in numbers. So I think there'll always be a big difference there. Yeah. But women are most definitely on every level getting more involved in the motor industry, whether it's purchasing nicer vehicles or whether it's physically racing them. There is an aspect that I can tell you as well that I'm concerned about, and we spoke about this at the breakfast. And that's why I mentioned it in my talk as well, is the same goal that you guys have is leaving a legacy. Unfortunately, because of the number being so small, it's important for women to help the next one and not want to take all the fame and glory. You gotta give something back. So if you've done well, train up the next lady because she can train another one and another one and another one. And those things are relevant, not as much with the guys, because guys are all there being competitive and, in it for the fun and the race and that stuff. But we do need to nurse a little bit to get those numbers up. And I don't think the women are doing it enough. In fact, I know they're not. I don't know how you feel about that, and that's probably why you guys are also pushing for this.
No, definitely I agree with you, Wilmarie. And also, when you see the passion of the females in this industry, if they could just direct that towards, like you say, the next generation, that will help a lot.
Yeah, I think
so. I mean, it sounds to me like there's no real barriers except for getting people motivated and enthusiastic about it, rather than removing any barriers.
Yes, that's correct.
Look, the challenges that we discussed there as well, especially after the talk, a lot of the ladies came to us and concerns are sponsorship, like anything. It's an expensive sport. Let's be honest. We're not playing tennis or painting.
So generally, I mean, I suppose it's a fact that guys are physically stronger than most girls. I'd kind of be trap mooi there, but physically, guys are stronger. So does that play a part in motorsports and in competing? Is that physical side a relevant?
I believe it's largely sorry. I believe it's largely due down to the type of motorsport you choose. If it's something along the lines of like a motocross that is very hard on the body and very physical, yes, then there's you're going to start noticing a slight gap and a difference there. But in the drifting, coming from the drifting side of things,
there's no physical strength required. So it depends on the category.
So there's no physical barrier. I mean, going around a track, a woman could do the same lap times as a guy could.
Quicker.
If anything,
I know you're quicker on a bike.
If anything, the generally smaller build of the ladies makes them quicker. They tend to have more endurance, and a better focus.
And women analyze things. Come on, you should
constantly
know.
analyzing. But not only that, they take instruction considerably better. You can speak to any driving instructor. They tend to take instruction considerably better. And I'm going to put that down to, and I'm going to get hated for it, but it's down to ego. Ego and that typical red mist. Guys can get lost and tied up in that anger and
directions.
That anger and that aggression, whereas the lady competitors tend to keep a considerably more level head about things, and thus can drop an incident and continue with what's the matter at hand.
Chad, I agree 100%. Most instructors will say that to you. So, I think the ladies need to stand together, and I think it's great what you guys are doing, Renee, because, and it's awesome because you do so many different exhibitions, and to see you focusing on women and the motor industry for us is great. And we must definitely support the next one. In terms of motoring, is there new things happening, new exciting things coming up?
Just as I mentioned, we're looking at doing a business and motorsport conference. So that will be launched in 2016.
Okay.
And then in 2017, we will again announce another project, but I cannot say much more until City of Ekurhuleni approve it.
And what is it that you are planning with the youth? Because you mentioned the youth is a big thing for you as well.
Well, we're still investigating it, but we're looking at going around to schools, something similar that I read that you've done previously, and it's just the safety around it, and then also to start introducing, especially like this Honda NSF 100s, inform kids that they can get involved in these motorsports. It's again that next generation to get them involved. So that's the school projects that we want to start rolling out in 2016.
So exposure.
Yes,
is
absolutely.
key.
And I might add that NSF, I mean, having attended the Motor Show, Motorfest over the past couple of years, I can say that in terms of content, that NSF 100 went down an absolute treat. It was absolute, creating a total buzz around the stands and that, just taking a walk around. Everybody was talking, hey, did you see those youngsters out on the bikes?
And we're talking young, we're talking what age, yeah?
We're talking pre-teens, tweens, and early teens. Like we're saying,
young.
Between 8 years old, 8 to 14 years old. You know, on sport bikes, going around, getting a knee down around the track, you know. They may not have been the fastest in a straight line, but it was fantastic to see the commitment and the dedication from these youngsters just going flat out and trading paint and switching positions, you know. It's heartwarming.
Yes, and if they come off there, they're still like rubber. You know, they kind of just bend.
Like we say, made of rubber and magic.
breaks.
Nothing really breaks, yes.
So it was nice to see at the breakfast the youngsters who joined the moms as well.
Yes,
like really young kids. I mean, it was a weekday, so it was awesome to have them all there. So, you know, we wish you all the best with that project, and if there's a way to help or get involved, by all means. But I also see what's interesting is that you guys are very aware of the environment. And you incorporate that into your exhibitions.
Yes.
How do you do that?
If we're referring specifically to greening initiatives, yes, we do throughout. For example, we focus a lot on this reducing paper, bringing in more digital, and then we also do something where we give back to the environment whatever carbon footprint gets generated through our events, we sponsor back by planting trees. So we've done that across all our titles. It's just a motorsport event. We still have to work around because there's different things that we need to measure, like the tire smoke that gets released thanks to the Super Drift guys, or
hey, play nice now.
and then the tires that need to be recycled after the event. So I think from 2016 onwards, we also start launching a green initiative around the motor show as well.
But that's amazing. So it just shows from the motoring industry and the sport, we can actually do different. So what would you say to the people out there? Well, let's say to the spinners, because I mean, it's still, am I right, it's still very uncontrolled.
That's correct.
MSA is trying to get their claws in there.
Yes, that's correct.
To manage the safety. What can they do for the environment as well?
I guess the thing that comes to mind is recycling your tires. There's a nice initiative called Redisa. They take the tires and they donate it to entrepreneurs that make products out of the tires, be it little pot plants or whatever. So that's my first idea that I could suggest to spinners, drifters, is that please recycle your tires and pass it on to Redisa.
Well, that's great. So is it Redisa, R-O-D-I?
Sorry, it's R-E-D-I-S-A.
R-E-D-I-S-A.
That's correct.
So get hold of them there, do the right thing, recycle your tires so we can keep spinning, basically.
That's correct.
And all the good stuff. Renee, now also, you guys have done, I mean, a lot of awards. You've received a lot of rewards. And Carol,
yes.
I'm sorry Carol couldn't be here today.
Yes, I do apologize
No,
for that.
no, it's fine. I mean, we see how busy she is. You guys are doing a lot of events. So thanks for joining and standing in
thank you.
there as well. But I mean, she also personally got an award, I think, with Woman of the Year in 2014.
Yes,
Is
that's
that
correct.
right?
Yes.
And as an exhibition company, what kind of awards stand out for you that you guys have received?
I think Entrepreneur of the Year, especially for Carol Weaving, because she comes up with new concepts every year. And the sport, we received a Sporting Initiative Award as well 2 years ago. So I think it's those things, the new initiatives that we come up with that we get the awards for that stand out for me. But you're right, even the Women of the Year Award. Thebee Reed is predominantly female-driven. All the ladies run their shows maybe with one or two males to back them up. So I think Carol Weaving's proud that we're a female-driven company.
Well, that's great. And the next show that's coming up now, is that Decorex?
That's correct. Decorex is the next show coming up next weekend. It's a decor show. We've been running around for 20 years. So, yeah. We get huge 50,000 people coming out to that event, and it's hosted at Gallagher Estate.
Yeah, because you guys are also, and I mean, that's a big event. That's also been going for how long now?
20 years now.
20 years. And are you guys involved in some way at the Dome?
Yes, we are the venue management company for the Dome. So we have a team that runs all the events on behalf of our clients that host their concerts or exhibitions at the Dome.
All right. Well, so all of the best for Decorex, but you're going to stay with us, please.
Yes, no.
Feel free to chip in. It's been great to have you here.
Thank you, Wilmarie.
What we're going to do now is we're going to go over and take a call, actually, and speak to Edward Makwana from BMW, just to give you guys a little bit of feedback on the launch where I was now. Today is their second day. So let's see. Edward?
Yes, hi, Wilmarie.
Hi, how are you?
I'm well, and you?
Great, thanks. Thanks for taking the call and making time, because I mean, I saw when I was there yesterday, it is a hectic schedule that you guys have, and for all the journalists, including yourself. How are things going there now, Edward?
Well, hectic schedule. I think, Wilmarie, if, as a biker yourself, you know that, biking is really all about, adventure and fun, and so we make the most of the time that we have here. With the second group at the moment, we've actually lunch, as you know, spent place in, I guess, the whole house.
Edward? Edward, sorry to interrupt you. Is there somewhere we see we've got quite a bad line where we can just get a slightly better signal maybe? Because I know we're there in between the bushes. Are you there? All right, we're going to try and get back to Edward just now. Just to tell you guys a little bit, Chad, you also saw now on the BMW 1200. Yesterday we were testing, I think in total they now have, today's the second day, about 30 journalists joining them. Now look, when BMW, when they do something, they do it properly. In terms of where they, book you in to stay over, and the riding, my word. We got there. We had to be at the airport at 6:40 for the flight. It was really early. I almost missed it.
That's not early.
For
That's
me-
not early.
for me, that's
You clearly
early.
are not a morning person.
I'm not, but I tell you, I was supposed to leave my car at, what's it, the valet
Okay,
parking,
yes, yeah.
okay? So we're now not supposed to pay. But I mean, I went in there so quickly that I completely missed it. I had to park on the normal parking, got a lovely little ticket fine today. But, we all got there in about, got going on the bikes and that at about 10. And we didn't stop. We only got back at about 6.
Wow.
So we did some, plenty
a lot
riding.
of riding, yeah.
So let's just see. It looks like we've got Edward back just to get a little more detail. Edward, are you there?
Yes, Wilmarie, can you hear me now?
Yeah, nice and clear now. Thanks, Edward. So
Okay.
can you tell us quickly, where are you, location-wise?
So we are now in Midlands, in Mooi River, at the Hartford House, a country hotel. So we just stopped over for lunch before the next, or the last part of riding.
Great.
So as you know, it's a lovely place. Yeah.
Yes, it's an absolutely amazing place, and the food even better. But I mean, this is now the point where the guys swap bikes, am I right?
Hello, Wilmarie?
This is the part where they're now going to swap the bikes after lunch.
That's right. So we had the first group, that was the BMW S1000 XR, which is of course the adventure sport bike that we'll be launching here. And then, so those who were riding in that will then swap over into the sports tourer bike, the
Yes.
BMW R1200 RS, to head back to our overnight stock.
Now, Edward, can you tell us something that stands out for you about this launch with the XR and the RS? What stands out mostly for you? I mean, you've done one day with us now it's your second day. Tell the listener what there is that they can look forward to.
Maybe let me start with the BMW S1000 XR. Of course, this is a brand new bike in the adventure sports bike segment. I think a lot of people who are into biking will that BMW has a S1000 RR, which is the sport bike, and we've got recently we launched the sort of baby brother of that bike, the S1000 R. So now we're going into a slightly new segment, the adventure sports bike segment. We're really trying to strike a bridge between the two, between someone who may have been a GS rider all their lives, and also has a close sort of heart to a sports bike like the R and the double R. This one's really something that you wouldn't necessarily use to just go purely off-road, but really to just kind of wake up one day thinking, you know what, I want a bit of an adventure with a lot of power. That's what the XR is there to do. So it runs on a 4-cylinder engine, so a similar engine to the R and the double R. So you've got a lot of power, obviously, with that bike, just on 118 kilowatts, and about 112 newton meters of torque. And of course, as usual, we've got quite a number of technical highlights that come with the bike. Things like with a lot of our new bikes, you have riding modes that you can use, like the rain or road modes that you could use. But most importantly, again, being an adventure sports bike, you have what we call ABS Pro. So you would have seen on the twisty roads that we had on the route here on the launch. Really just trying to enable you that you corner, while you corner it, you can actually brake. I mean, as a race, from a race driver yourself, you know how important that 100%. Is, I think, so trying to make sure that, every step of the way you enjoy what this bike stands for, adventure riding or adventure sports riding. So in a nutshell, that's what the XR really stands for, really covering dynamic touring qualities. You'll get sporting performance, high level comfort, and supreme practicality from that particular bike.
And I mean, I personally love the XR. I think it's a fantastic bike, and I'll give some more feedback just now after the call of my personal experience. But tell us a little bit about the RS in terms of also the Boxer engine for those real Boxer lovers.
I think a lot of people will remember the RS, or the first RS from 1976 as the R1200 RS. So this basically is the newer version of that, so the R1200 RS. So a sports tourer, again, which with this particular bike, we're really bringing a new look to sporty motorcycling, to sporty tourers, so for people who are really into tourism, but wants, again, a little bit of the cruiser bike, but with a bit of a grunt, with a bit of a sports characteristics. So really here, this particular bike, really a culmination of BMW's new R series with the air or liquid cooled Boxer in terms of power. So here you've got about 92 kilowatts of power from the flat twin Boxer engine, and then you've got about 125 newton meters of torque. Really, again, ensuring that it offers what the bike. So just like with all the other bikes, also you would have the rain, the road riding mode.
All the settings in that, all
the settings that you can play around with on the situation that you find yourself in.
Yes.
And I think customization is quite important. And we've made sure that there's a variety of colors that customers can choose from, or packages as well that customers can choose from. So quite a lot to choose from with this particular bike.
Edward, thanks for that. We're going to give the guys a little bit more feedback now. The line is not 100% clear, but I just want to, before we end the call, I want to ask you one thing that stood out for me from a journalist point of view, is that BMW is very aware of safety as well. And one of the key things is your two instructors that you had there. Just tell us a little bit in terms of just shortly on the qualifications, for taking us around.
So qualifications of who?
Of your instructors. I mean, this is they get trained up internationally. Yes. Am I right?
That's right. That's the Roger Kevin. He's actually based here in KwaZulu-Natal, and he's a qualified instructor. So, all our events, we make sure that all our partners that we work with in terms of route leaders are qualified route guys. So they are part of the country tracks. A lot of people that are biking country tracks where they offer quite a number of off-road courses and a couple of motorcycle riding courses as well. And then we've also got Stefan from Bloemfontein. He's also joined us. So they really have avid BMW riders here who've been leading the course, and you would have seen as well that safety was quite important. Within the
100%.
various routes that we chose, and we had to have them to ensure that everything runs smoothly.
Well, Edward, thank you so much for your time, because I think you guys are doing a great thing. You've got incredible bikes and great instructors to help us go and test those bikes. So from our side at Auto Central and AutoTrader, thanks for making time to talk to us during your busy time today, and we wish you all the best for the remaining of the launch.
Thank you so much for the opportunity to chat to you and your listeners, and enjoy the rest of your day as well.
Thanks, Edward. All the best.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. So just quickly, we're going to play an ad now from AutoTrader for you, and then afterwards I'm going to give you a little more feedback on the actual XR and the RS of my personal experience, and then Chad, up to you.
Lovely, yeah.
This is CliffCentral.com.
Choice. Sometimes you have it, and sometimes you don't. AutoTrader gives you the choice. Now you can shop, compare, and buy new cars. Watch our expert video reviews and research before you buy. AutoTrader New Car. The choice is yours.
Stand a chance to buy a brand new mystery car for just 99 cents. You heard right, 99 cents. Follow the clues on Twitter at AutoTrader SA and use the hashtag 99cent new car.
Unreal, uncensored, unradio. CliffCentral.com.
Okay, and we're back at Auto Central with AutoTrader and Chad and George. And Renee, thanks for joining us. You're still here. We're going to pull you in just now. All right, so you heard that now from the Edward. He's the head of communications for BMW. He's been for over 5 years now. So, I mean, when we got there, we were about 15, 16 journalists. Now, it was fantastic because you arrive and there's just bikes everywhere. So it's like a dream,
It is like a little bit of a party, yes.
It was
I must just say I heard that Edward say that the bike puts out 125 Newton meters of torque. The 99 cents new car puts out 145 Newton meters of torque.
You just had to get that in there.
There's a slight difference in the way that it delivers that torque.
What, you don't get wet?
Well, that too. Yes. Well, look, it was. I must tell you, it was two impressive bikes. At the end of the day, you will choose one that'll stand out a bit more for you. But my personal experience with the RS was that it was height-wise for me. It was great because my toes could actually touch. Because remember we were saying, Chad, that was my concern.
Yeah, you were a bit concerned about the height, just a general ride height in terms of safety and comfort of the bike.
Yes.
So I'm not a bike person, right? I love bikes, but I don't know the intricacies like you do, Wilmarie. This BMW 1200 RS and the 1000 XR. Just for the normal layman, what kind of bike is this?
Now that's the very interesting bit, and that's what I'm seeing here is that BMW is really starting to bridge gaps. Like Edward was saying there, it's for the rider that's been riding adventure bikes per se, but he's looking for something a little more sporty, but he doesn't want to leave the adventure sort of characteristics
sports touring
and sports touring feel. So now he's leaning towards that would be the R1200, correct?
Correct, yeah.
That he'd be leaning a little closer to that.
Because you mentioned bike height, so now automatically when you say height's a problem, it tells me this is probably an off-road bike.
Well, no, it's Actually, we didn't do any off-road riding. It was all tar related. It's not really a dual-purpose bike. It is an adventure sports bike, basically. The XR is more sporty, which is obviously was my choice at the end of the day. It was my number one choice. But they first put me on the RS so I could feel, the power. There's power. If you want to overtake, you can. Revving is nicely, very smooth gearbox, very strong engine. Handling is fantastic. And like Edward was saying, you've got you can set your suspension and power output to normal for rain weather. Obviously, so if you're not very gentle on the throttle, then the bike will help you. It just cuts the power. You can set it on normal road version, and then you can set dynamic. Dynamic will make it a little stiffer, so in other words, for more higher speed and a little bit more advanced riding.
So now these bikes, I mean, is this kind of a new thing with motorcycles where you're starting to have technology help the rider ride the bike, like cars are with ABS and traction control and stability control.
100%.
Is this new to the motoring, or should I say motorcycling technology set?
It's not new, but it is getting better and better. And when I say better, look, when it comes to racing, I actually end up switching off what needs to be switched off. Because some parts of it these days are so good, the bikes are getting better that you can leave some of the traction control on. So on the ZX10 that I had, for example, and this RS also, the XR also got it. It prevents the back wheel from lifting. So if you're pulling a handful of brakes, you want to keep traction on the back. So the suspension automatically adjusts for you. So there it assists the rider for sure, 100%. But if you're a very competent rider, there's some elements of that you don't actually like.
You actually find that it intervenes and it stops you from doing or positioning the bike the way that you want it positioned.
Yeah.
But to answer your question, no, George, not a new thing, but it is a very fast evolving area and aspect of bikes, and we're seeing more of it filter into production bikes that are going out onto the road. And yes, more affordable bikes as well. You've naturally got your price brackets as you do with vehicles, and the more affordable bikes are now starting to feature things like switchable mapping, ABS, fuel injection, and that type of thing, especially if you start riding your enduros and that.
And you know what's incredible is that you can adjust the suspension for pillion as well. So it shows you it's got one little helmet in the front, it's for one rider. If it's got two little helmets, so you can click on it, you have a rider. So, I mean, when you one person on the bike, make sure your suspension is not set up for 2 or 3. It'll be way too hard.
You can put 3 people on a bike?
Well, I mean, and luggage.
Nice catch.
You're paying attention, nice.
Yes. It's a very large backpack.
Very large backpack. But, I mean, obviously, most of these bikes that BMW will sell will go to the general public, and they'll be out on our roads. And so the track side aside, if that's a sentence,
we'll give it to you.
The technology is becoming more and more sophisticated. That's what I'm hearing.
Yes.
Is the technology becoming more and more sophisticated, and this is the kind of bike you want to ride because, well, one of the elements is, besides its power and all of that stuff, is because of the technology that they've got in the bike.
Look, BMW is great at it. They don't get one of the things I picked up now, also talking to the guys from is it Europe now? Because we were Skyping with them throughout the launch as well, giving us some technical feedback, is they know where they're going. They are not getting pushed around or rushed or confused by other manufacturers. They're not copying, they are doing their own thing. So one of the things style-wise that they were very specific on is they want some continuity within their brand. So you can see that with the XR and the RS now, also with the sports bike. So that's very nice to see. Their lines, they know what they want, so no one is dictating that for them. And engine-wise as well, some people are complaining, but the Boxers should be making more by now. Why can't they get more out of it? And they're saying that bike and that engine and everything is for that rider more than they actually can handle. So they're not going to be told to give more horsepower when some people want it. So they're catering for the majority and the Boxer, the real lover of the Boxer engine. The XR, on the other hand, for me was incredible because what stood out the moment I got on it, look, I couldn't turn it on my own. I had to ask the boys to help turn it around because it's so tall. But once I'm on it and I'm riding, it was phenomenal. Just straight away, it feels like you have a kind of a racing bike. The gears are a lot quicker. You've got a quick shifter on it. So the difference between the bikes is the XR's got a quick shifter on. The RS, they say one's coming, but not yet. Shorter gear ratio, higher revving on the XR, and a little bit taller bike. Suspension-wise, a little bit more aggressive. So it is for the more advanced rider. But both of these bikes were phenomenal because each and every one of us outbraked ourselves a little bit at one point, and the bike just sits. So that was great.
Soaked up everything and...
100%. I'm so impressed with both the bikes. I actually can't say anything bad.
Fantastic.
So,
well, just taking a look, you actually got 242 BMWs.
On AutoTrader. Yeah. So
Not vehicles, bikes, BMW bikes.
Well, that's
available
great.
on the AutoTrader site.
So if you are looking for one, they do know what they're doing. Go onto AutoTrader's website and have a look and compare something there. But Chad, tell us a little bit more about, and we're busy with a video on the XR and the RS. So once we've got that, I'll upload it as well.
Fantastic.
But in the meantime, tell us a little bit about the review with the Isuzu KB. You and your friends had a bit of a
we
fun
thought that
time.
we thought that we'd and so it seems that seems to be the theme now for today in a way, is that it's going to be a little bit of bike action with the Isuzu KB 300. It was the D-Tech, the 300 D-Tech 4x2 Auto. We decided that we're going to just load up a couple of mates onto with their bikes. So it was my bike and a mate's bike, load them up onto the back and see, listen, this is a sort of area that, a double cab driver is going to place himself in. How does it handle that? And loaded the bikes up, kept the tailgate down, but loaded the bikes up and loaded the mates in with all the gear and that in between and in the cab and everything, and trundled off, took a little dirt track and that, and the little bit of off-road section that it took to get out to where we were going to go and ride and do this video of ours, the 4x2, surprisingly enough, just soaked it up with grace's pleasure. Now, it naturally doesn't have a low range, but there was a diff lock in it, and even with the auto box, it just managed to trundle along and get over the little obstacles, and that, being the 4x2, it's not going to tackle some serious off-road 4x4 work, but if you're looking out to get into the bush and there's a couple of obstacles, a place where a normal sedan car, hatchback passenger car isn't going to get to, the Isuzu will do it with the greatest of pleasure. Motor beautifully torquey. It is a slightly older motor now, the 3-litre 4-cylinder. That one makes 130 kilowatts at 3,600 RPM. But the torque's nice and high. That's 380 Newton meters. So there, George, I mean, you're chasing torque. There's some torque for you. 380 Newtons, much better. And that's from really low down. So you don't need to even strangle the motor to get it out there. The ride itself is still very, and I want to say pickup, but let's use the South African words here. It is still very bucky-like in the sense that, there's I'm not going to say a rudimentary suspension, but it is a stiffer, less communicative suspension. But in a vehicle that you're going to take off-road, you actually don't want this tight, taut, responsive suspension, because then every little rut and groove that you go into is just going to pull the steering wheel out of your hand. So in that sense, it was good off-road. On-road, it wasn't that bad. You could live with it. But I was a little disappointed. I'm going to be a little negative here. I was a little disappointed with the interior side of things. The interior, to me, took a little while to get nicely comfortable into a nice driving position and that, and I still felt that a little more could have been done in terms of dressing up the interior, especially when you compare it to some of the competitors out in the market. Now there's
isn't Isuzu kind of synonymous with the workhorse?
Absolutely, yes. So I kept that in mind, and I was sitting there saying that, you know what, okay, it's got the leather interior and the leather trim, it's as options checked, and it's not bad, but would I be able to live with it on a daily basis? And in the sense that this is a double cab that I'm still going to load, let's say the kids or the mates into, family into, and head out to the movies or something, and I'm not going to be going off-road, I'm not going to be necessarily doing any heavy lifting or carting around of goods in the back. There it seemed to just miss the mark. Not by much, but it just makes me really interested to see what the updated version, the new model, the new release, which is planned and coming shortly. I don't have exact dates on that, but they do say that it is on its way, the new one. So, I mean, it is still a workhorse. It drove well. Fuel consumption wasn't bad in that, but it was still civilized. You could still live with it on a daily basis. I just feel that the competitors are giving them a serious run for their money, and Isuzu is really needing to step up and just
the game,
not necessarily up their game. They've got a good product that's going there, especially when you consider the price that it comes in at. It's pretty good in terms of what else is out there. But I want to see a couple of updates. I want to see them, just step it up a notch or two, because then I think it could be a really fantastic vehicle in that sense. To give you the nitty-gritty details there, the one that we tested now, this was of course the KB300 D-Tech, the 4x2 with the automatic gearbox. Now that retails for 460,300 and goes with a 5-year 120,000 kilometer warranty and a 5-year 90,000 kilometer service plan. So there's a bit of peace of mind there, and that pricing
that's big. I mean, that's saying something about Isuzu to put their name behind 190,000 kilometers. How many vehicles have
120 and 90?
How many vehicles have that kind of plan?
It mostly stops at 120 max.
Yeah.
So price-wise, you were saying?
Price-wise, like I say, 460,300. 460,300. Granted, it's not the full-blown 4x4, so it's the 4x2, but it is an auto, and with a couple of options checked, you're going to get it in there. They've got the Serengeti versions and that. They've got the last hurrahs now of the model range. So I'm sure that there's a little bit of wiggle room in terms of negotiating in that. And, the AutoTrader site will be able to put you in contact with some of the Isuzu dealers if you'd like to go and take one for a test drive.
There's almost 1,000 Isuzu KBs on the site at the moment, and climbing.
So fantastic.
Great. So you can also, if you're interested in Isuzu, go onto the AutoTrader website, and you can also look at the review.
Yeah, go and take a look at the photos, the written review, and of course the video review. Go and take a look at that, because I'd shot that video and pieced it together, edited it and everything, and we put it out there. And then, it must have been a week, 10 days later, they released their Serengeti advert, which is disturbingly similar.
Oh, really?
Disturbingly similar.
And you didn't see it beforehand, right?
No, I hadn't seen it beforehand. I hadn't worked on that advert.
Chad, we're very proud of your videos. So
and I saw there was a girl with you.
Yes,
with you guys. Did she do some riding as well? Did you?
That's the girlfriend. Yes, that's Kelly, the girlfriend, and she'd only ever ridden, a couple of pit bikes before that. But through on I ride a CR250, so it's not a small bike, it's not a light bike, and it's fairly strong. And I said to her, no, I'm not leaving here until you climb on that bike and you go out and you ride on your own without me on the bike, assisting.
How many nights did you stay?
Not long enough. But she did extremely well. Didn't come off. She got the hang of it, and in fact she's been egging me on to go and ride again. So hopefully I can. She loves Red Bull X Fighters and all the freestyle motocross side of things. So
you've converted her.
I'm looking to get. I'm culturing it here. I'm building this little
plan,
petrol head here.
Yeah. Well, you're involved in the industry, so you got to have a girl with some interest that's going to go to all these exhibitions and events.
And she loves it. She tags along everywhere, and she loves it.
Well, that's great. So, guys, once again, if you're looking for Isuzu, you can go to AutoTrader's website, or Chad's very interesting video on the Isuzu. You can go and get it on the website as well at AutoTrader. Just quickly now, with upcoming events, we've got the World Superbike Round 10. It's the Pirelli Malaysian round, and it's this Saturday, 2nd of August. So don't miss that. Unfortunately, the last one wasn't that great that we saw, that we spoke about as well in terms of accidents and things. So let's hope this one goes better.
Yeah, there was Mazda Laguna Seca, and of course just marred. Like we said, it was a bit of a nasty.
It was
weekend,
a very negative one. So we're trusting this is going to be a good one at the Pirelli Malaysian.
Do we know if any riders, any of the teams are going to be riding in memoriam?
I don't actually know. No.
I would suspect that somebody would, somewhere along the line, yeah.
So anything else, anything exciting motoring that's happening for you, George, this weekend?
No, nothing exciting that's happening with motoring. Just keeping up with the 99-cent new car, and
which is seems a handful.
It is a handful, indeed. It is a handful.
Talking about that, can we get, before we leave, which is going to be now soon, we got to just lock up here, close up, the tip that we had.
Our clue.
Our clue, sorry.
Our clue was its acceleration is the same as an automatic BMW 118i. 118i.
Yes.
So there we go. I've got that one correct. I'm just going off of what I'm memorizing here, the automatic BMW 118i. So very BMW orientated here today, but the acceleration from 0 to 100 is the same as that. So that's our clue there.
And I see Twitter's already gone mad with that acceleration. People are guessing it. People are getting it right. They're kind of putting other cars into the category of the 118i.
Correct, yes.
It's already taken off.
Yeah. Then a little later on today, keep your eyes on AutoTrader's Google Plus page, and we'll be sending out a bit of a sneak peek as to what we're filming in that, and is very strange, very funky, and looks like luggage. It's the Citroen Cactus.
We were talking about that.
Yes.
So have a look out for that sneak peek on Google Plus.
Seriously, it does. I'll show you in the parking lot when we leave. I'll show you. Sorry, Wilmarie.
No, it's fine. So, guys, just to recap, if you're a spinner or anything motorsport related, there is some environmental issues or things that you can contribute. So donate your tires and help them with that. And Decorex Expo coming up. And any BMWs or Isuzus, go to the AutoTrader website. There seems to be plenty there that you can have a look at. And keep an eye out for our BMW R1200 RS and 1000 XR video that's coming up soon. Truly awesome bikes, and we're going to tweet out some more info later and some photos on that as well. It's an incredible bike. So from our side, hope you have a great week till next week. And remember, on social media, you can follow us on myself on SA Speed Queen,
or at AutoTrader SA, or at George Mienie, or
at Chad Lookoff.
So, secret to a balanced life, keep moving.
This is CliffCentral.com.